found this clip of the sensational Cory Wong woodshedding Vulfpeck's 1-for-1 DiMaggio on Instagram. He is such a tasty player, but obviously his thing is that microscopic accuracy with which he can smash out those 16th note funk rhythms. His right hand technique looks like no one else's. It's like it flaps up and down like some boneless herring attached to his wrist. Yet he somehow maintains incredible precision and control with his pick attack. But let us not be discouraged by the fact that we mere earthlings have hands with bones in them. We can still learn from this ferociously funky, floppy-fingered phenom. So let's run through this whole thing super slow. 3, 4. Lots of vibrato on that one. Back through it again. You can loop that passage as many times as you like. It works really well. It's the right amount of beats and notes for the 4-bar pattern or 8 bars or whatever it is. So repeat that bit as many times as you like. You know, there are many music lovers out there who would eschew the tightness and accuracy of Cory Wong's playing in favour of, say, Jack White's raw, garagey, unvarnished rock. There are those who would say Jack White's playing conveys more emotion, whilst others would argue Cory Wong's precision generates undeniable groove. But I don't know who's White and who's Wong. So let's have a look at the techniques involved here. To play Cory's brand of funk, we need to do a ton of muting. Cory is able to strum all or most of his strings whilst maintaining control over which notes he wants to hear. So here's an exercise to build that ability. Let's just take a pentatonic scale, anywhere you like, let's say B, 7th fret, and we're going to play every note of the scale, but muting all the other strings. There are many ways to silence unwanted strings and unwanted notes. First up, using the sides of the fretting finger. If I'm playing this note, 7th fret on the A string, that's an E note, I can touch the tip of my finger against the top E string and then the fleshy part of my finger against the strings underneath. So with one finger, I can hit every string and get just the note that I want. So we can do that with any finger, but it's harder and needs more practice with some. Another technique that I use a ton of, and look, I saw Hendrix do it when I was a little kid. I didn't see Hendrix live. I saw Hendrix do it on TV when I was a little kid, and it taught me more than anything, is hanging the old thumb over the top. So, you know, if I move that, if I want to play the 7th fret on the D string, which is an A note, now I can mute 5 of the strings, so I can aim for those 5, but if I hit the top string, that's now open. So I bring my thumb up. There we go. Then that thumb can stretch over more and more. So I'm sure you saw while I was doing that, I've got my thumb touching at least the top 2 strings. So depending on what note, it can reach 3. I don't have huge hands. So another technique is to use any unutilized finger to lay across the other strings. So if I'm going to play this D note, 7th fret on the G string, I've got this sort of thing going on. So my thumb's touching the top couple of strings, my second finger's also touching the A string and the D string, and then the fleshy part under here of all these fingers is touching the bottom couple of strings. Now that technique is easier when we're playing with our 3rd or 4th finger because the other fingers can lay behind and mute all the other strings quite easily. So that brings me to another technique, which is laying one finger very lightly across the strings in front. So if I'm using my first finger, again on that 7th fret, D note, I can lay another finger across all of the strings, and because that string I'm pressing down is now lower in the profile of the strings, my muting finger is not touching it. So it takes more precision, that one. That's hard to do. Then we've got right hand muting. So we can use the side and the heel of our strumming hand. I shouldn't call it right hand muting for the lefties out there. Pick hand muting. So I can play, let's use that same note. This time I'm not using my fretting hand to mute. So I'm kind of, instead of flopping my whole hand, I'm keeping it anchored so that it's muting the strings. Finally, a little hint about muting. It's better whenever you can to use multiple points of muting, whether that be thumb and other fingers or right hand or picking hand as well, because if I just mute with one finger here, all of a sudden I'm getting those harmonics. But if I use two, I'm touching the string in multiple places, so it's not going to let the harmonics ring. I gave you that exercise before, the pentatonic thing. You can play anything. You can choose a riff that you know inside and out. Okay, a bit of Deep Purple. Let's play that, but hitting all the strings. Yeah, that's a nice easy one because it's all on the top strings and it's all within a couple of frets there. But play anything, you know, that's a good way to practice it, is just playing a single note riff but letting this hand strike all the strings all the time. All right, let's have a quick look at the theory here, the note choices. So for all the apparent complexity in Cory's take on these chords, he's really adhering to a very simple diatonic idea. Let's start with that first phrase. All he's doing there, I'm going to move it down to first position so we can see. All he's doing there, if we take the first pair of notes and the third pair of notes from that phrase, just got a little F chord. It's an F triad. So that's all he's doing, is moving from one part of an F chord through the next scale step to the other part of an F chord. Then Cory applies that simple idea to the whole progression. So that chord progression is very simply F, B flat, G, C, A, D minor, G, C. That's the cycle. I mean, that's simplifying the chords down to 3-note triads. There's a couple of other things that happen. Over the B flat chord, Joe Dart descends to a G bass note, making it a G minor 7. And over the C chord, Joe Dart drops back to a B flat, making it a C7, but with its 7th in the bass. There's also the fact that the tonality, if we go beyond triads, the G chord is a G7 chord, the A is an A7. That's fine, that's irrelevant for our purposes here. If we adhere to this, I'll just show you the whole thing in first position to show you how simple these note choices and ideas are. So we've got the F, then we've got the B flat down to G minor, then G, I mean look at that, then C, the A, so they're all parts of that A, then the D minor, so they're part of that D minor. The G, if I inverse those notes, the G is on the top and the B's on the bottom, but if I put the B on top and G on the bottom, and then he finishes on that wonderful C11 to C9 shape. I love using that. Did you know you can actually flatten your finger and include the B string as well? In fact, You can drop the ninth back as well. Oh, how nice is that resolution? Oh, simple, clever, and effective. So here's an exercise to familiarise yourself with Cory's pattern here before you try and take on the whole funky mess. So let's do this. We got... Okay, so that I would suggest doing that exercise numerous times to get familiar with the shapes, the structure of this thing before you try and bring it up to speed and do the other things, which are the funky strumming and the licks in between. So let's have a quick look at those licks in between. Again, Cory has stayed with diatonic simplicity here, using the F major pentatonic scale almost exclusively throughout. So his first lick... So he's just going, that's 10th fret, that's a C note, D note, 12th fret, these are on the D string, 10th fret on the G string, that's an F note. Straight out of that scale. And it sounds like he hammers that D note. Doesn't quite pick it. Then he goes on to the next. Now he cuts himself short. Instead of getting down to the G minor there, he plays... and then a complete descent of the F major pentatonic scale. And it sounds like he does pull-offs all the way until the last pair of notes. Then he drops back down here to do the G ascent. Then the same lick as the first time without the hammered D note. Now why does that work? It sounds like he's moved keys. He's gone to G major now, and yet he's playing the same lick from the same scale. Why does that work? Well, let me tell you. It's because we're in F, and as we add a G chord, the only key that has an F major and a G major in it is C, the key of C. Now, what do we know about the key of C? All natural notes, no flats or sharps. And, coincidentally, or not, the F major pentatonic scale has no flats or sharps. So the same notes are going to work really well in that context. And in fact, he's only using 3 of those notes anyway. And 2 of those are in a G7 chord, the D and the F. So then C. Then this time, his lick is simply the tritone that exists in a C7 chord, which is following Joe Dart's descent to B flat during that C chord bar. Now Cory's lick over the A is purely percussive. I mean, I've had to nominate a fret number on the tabs. I can't just leave it blank. I've got to put something in there. So I've chosen the A note at the 17th fret, but really, you know, I don't know if Cory's even aiming for a note. It's just a sort of sliding down the top string. And then he slides up again, just from wherever, into that 15 and 15 there. Again, I've nominated a fret here. So that bit's quite tricky because I'm playing that 15 and 16 with my second and third fingers so that my first can be used to mute, because Cory hits every 16th note in this passage. So I keep my third finger travelling up chromatically, and I change to my pinky on the E string. And that, my funky friends, is that. Please like and subscribe and ring the bell, and let me know how you go with that one. That's a great little practice passage just to run. Even if you're not particularly into the song, it's just a great exercise. I've done this over and over trying to get it cleanly up to speed for this today, and I thought I could play it, but when you record things, sometimes it reveals little flaws in the technique. All right, see you next week. 3, 4.